Hey, Coach, it's Trevor from CUTigers.com. First time for most of your guys to play at Florida State and Tallahassee. You think you always have a bunch of guys from the state of Florida. You think your guys are pretty excited about playing in that environment?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think anytime you're in competition and you have the opportunity to go play in a great environment, that's it's fun. I mean, you love a challenge like that. So I think they're definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, we don't have many guys that have been there. Just kind of weird, just like the BC game. We only had a couple guys that had been there as well. But a lot of these guys have been there at some point or another along the way. But it'll be an awesome environment, and I'm sure it'll be a great game.
Coach, it seems like Phil Maffa has really come on the last couple of weeks. Had a big third down run to set up the last score against NC State, and a couple nice plays last week. How important is that, especially with Kobe being out right now?
Oh man, he's critical. I mean, Maffa's a special player. I mean, he's really starting to kind of come into his own a little bit, and he is a great young talent, and he's going to have a lot of great days, in front of him throughout his career.
Dabo, this is Chapel with the State. Xavier Thomas talked this week kind of about mental health and being aware of that going through his injury. I was wondering, what's available for players, and is that something y'all find yourselves talking about more and more, like in your coaching career, Clemson specifically?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that. We're not fully there yet, but I'm very thankful that it's something that people are more willing to talk about. 10 years ago, it was like something people just didn't talk about, and especially in our game, everybody's tough guys, and you push through things. But mental health is a huge thing in society. Football teams are a reflection of society. I mean, especially this age group, 18 to 23, 24-year-olds, a lot of challenges, and then you throw in all that comes with college and expectations and performance and success, failure, whatever. It's a huge thing, and it's why when I got the job in 2009, one of the first things I did was go see Terry Don Phillips and talk to him into allowing me to hire Milt Louder. And I remember when I told him that, he was like, "Well, we hire Milt Louder," and I was like, "Because we need somebody that the mental part of this game and the mental part of life is a huge part of anything. So we should really invest in that and work on that." So we've it's been a big part of what we do. Has been for a long time. We have Milt, who's been with me now for 14 years. He does a fantastic job, both from a performance mental health standpoint, but also mental wellness. When there's really tragic things. I mean, I think of Jay Guillermo, for example, and where he was. I didn't think I'd ever see Jay Guillermo again, and man, not only did I see him, he came back and man, he became a captain, and anybody can get into that state. Depression is a very real thing, and so the way we're equipped here, we have layers of communication to where hopefully we're proactive, and you can recognize some of the warning signs. Sometimes you don't see them, but proactive in our communication, where we can help them. And we've had many instances over the years. A few you may know about, and most you don't. But it's definitely something that is very real every campus, and certainly on every athletic team.
Hey, Dabo, I'm down in Louisiana working on something about what it takes for coaches, especially first-year coaches, to kind of build a program I'm wondering, obviously it's maybe a process that never ends necessarily because you're always trying to stay up at a certain level, but like, what did you maybe see in your team, the signs that even before the results showed up, showed you had taken Clemson to another level?
Well, I mean, you're right in that one aspect that you never stop building a program. I mean, I think once you start or think that you don't have to build anymore, I think you're going to decline quickly. So I think there has to be a mindset that you're always building. But I think the first thing is, I mean, you have to you got to be organized. You got to have a vision for what it's going to look like. You got to be able to instill that belief. And to do that, you have to have the right people who align with what you believe. And you have to have alignment from, the administration, board of trustees, everybody, true alignment in that vision and what you're trying to do. And, so there's a lot of decisions that have to be made, and then it's people, it's all about how you manage people and all that stuff. But as far as our program, honestly, I was an interim for 7 weeks, and so I had the opportunity to really see some growth. And we went 4-2 to finish up the regular season there. And I just saw these guys buying into what we wanted to do that year. But then when I got the job, and you kind of have an off season and all that type of stuff, and you just start seeing the buy-in. Once you articulate what the standards are, what the expectations are, and then you reinforce those things daily. Slowly but surely you start to see the change. You start to see guys buying into that. It's hard because to build a culture, to change a culture when you take a job, because quite frankly, nobody came there to, maybe except for a few freshmen that just came in on their signing class. Nobody came there for you to be their head coach. So I think when you start to, you change the culture through graduation, through discipline, through accountability, and through relationships is what I believe. And when you start to see those things start to come together, and kids starting to buy into the little things and really working toward the standard that you've set, I think that's where you see progress. And for me personally, it was 2010, and it was our worst year. Our first year, it wasn't great, but we won our first division championship, won 9 games, went to the ACC championship game for the first time. And so, I could really see, and that was big because guys got a little bit of a taste of success. We won our bowl game. And then 2010, we lost 5 games by 6 points or less. And I just remember vividly, because you start to find out where you are culturally, where you are programmatically, when you see how people handle adversity. It's easy when it's all good and everybody's winning and there's not a lot of criticism and all that. But when you go through that, and then maybe you have to make some tough decisions as well, but yet you see the chemistry. And I remember coming out of that 10 season, in fact, I said, I think we're getting ready to have the winningest decade in Clemson football history. And I was more convinced than ever after that 2010 team, and we won 6 games. But again, we lost to the national champion that year, Auburn, in overtime. We lost at Florida State on a 55-yard field goal with 2 seconds. I just saw the kids competing, and as the adversity came, they grew closer together. And I think that's when you know that you're heading in the right direction. And I don't think because it's easy when it's all good, but when you have some adversity, you see where the warts are, and you really see and feel all the work that's been put into building your program, to building your team, and how that stuff can hold up. I'll never forget, we lost our bowl game that year. I wasn't even in the locker room, and we had players in there just, that were leaving, that were gone, that were done, didn't have another practice, another game. And I just, they were in there, remember Tim Beret coming in and I was down. He comes in and he's like, "Should listen to that." And and these guys are out there and they're just challenging those guys coming back that, hey, we're on the right track. Keep stay the course. Believe in what we're doing. And man, we come back the next year and we won the ACC. So people always ask me when you see, but to me, it was more when the adversity came. That's where I saw us take a step as a program, and and then we went from there. I don't know if that helps.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say, this is Matt. Just with Blake Miller, this will probably be the toughest environment, crowd noise wise that he's played in. Do you have to do anything this week to try to get those guys and some of the other freshmen ready to practice this week?
I mean, a lot of noise, for sure. A lot of noise. That's the best thing you can do is try to make it as unrealistic in practice as you can, so that when they get there, they're not overwhelmed by that. It'll be loud and all that. It'll be a great environment, but you just try to prepare them for the type of focus that they have to have, to execute what we need to do, and then they got good players, so make sure you get enough good on good type work during the week so that they're ready, they're sharp.
Hey, Coach, it's Trevor again. If I heard you right yesterday, it sounds like you might have everybody back on defense with the exception of maybe Sheridan Jones. You've had like 4 to 7 defensive starters out every game this year. How excited are you about maybe just seeing all those guys back together?
I'm really excited. I'm super pumped, to have all hands on deck. And we've kind of, they've all been there at one point or another, but it just, but having everybody available at one time, really haven't had that just yet. So, hopefully, we'll be able to really play at a high level and play sharp, play smart, keep guys fresh. And but we got a tough challenge on our hands, especially with this quarterback they got. But it's great. I'm really happy to have Brian back. I'm excited for him. Obviously, he's been through a lot. It's been good to watch him in practice, and obviously to get some of these secondary guys back as well.
And do you think that you might move Makuba around a little bit, or do you feel pretty good about getting Green back and the improvement of Nate and Toriano at corner?
Yeah, I think Makuba is a guy that you will move around all year. Makuba's one of those game plan type guys as far as where he is week to week.
Dabo, can you hear me?
Yep.
This is Larry. It seems like Florida State has done a really good job this year of limiting explosive plays with their defense. I think in recent years, they've not been very good at that. Just curious from your observation, what are the ingredients to them sort of shoring that up so far this year?
Well, they're just, they're in their system for a couple of years. I mean, they've got some experienced guys. I think they have, I think it's 7 starters back on that side of the ball. And then they bring in the Verse kid, who's All-American, where he's coming from. He's played a lot of ball. They got good players. And again, those 2 safeties they're big time NFL dudes. They played a lot of ball. Both the corners, all 3 linebackers, really, really good players. And then same thing with the guys up front. They're just more experienced in their system. And those guys have done a great job coaching them up. But a lot more continuity, I think, with them this year than maybe what they've had.
Dabo, it seems like they've got a pretty diverse group of receivers. Will this be kind of a good test for the defensive back to kind of see how far they've come since the Wake Forest game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're a big challenge. 80's a very seasoned veteran, very good player. I really like his game. I think 4 he's a great slot. He does a lot of good stuff. He makes some competitive plays, back shoulder balls. They use him in a lot of different ways. And then that big number 14. He's a giant. He's just you can have a guy there, but making the play on him is hard. So they've definitely, and then their tight end is a really good player. They find him, use him. And I mean, they're a complete group, and they've got three of the best backs, that you're going to see. So and then a quarterback who can fly around. So it's they got really good personnel, and they know how to use their personnel to present challenges, to attack you and present challenges. So definitely will be a big task to, play well against these guys.
Coach, I was going to ask you about those receivers. Do 80, 14, and 4 kind of remind you of what you've had over the years, just in terms of different body types and skill sets at receiver?
Yeah. I mean, and then number 11 too. I mean, he started for them some last year. He's a really good player. And they got several guys, but I mean, they got guys that can do a little bit of everything. I think we got guys that can do the same. I think we got guys just like that can do just everything that we need them to do. But they're probably a little bit more experienced, than we are at this point. Outside of, well, even Ngata, he's getting his most experience this year. Obviously, Antonio's a young guy. Bo's still a year and a half into his career. So we got a good group, and they got a good group. Be a fun night to watch those matchups.
With Ngata, just with him finally staying healthy consistently, just how nice has it been to see him go out and kind of play like the way you thought he would, and go out to make so many competitive catches?
Yeah, it's been great. He's a handful. I mean, he really is. I'm proud of him. It's been fun to see him be able to practice every day and just be able to, get the reward for all the work that he's put in, and finally be able to stay healthy and stay on the field. And just really proud of him. He's bought into what he has to do to take care of his body, and has made a lot of big plays already. And hopefully there'll be a lot more to come the second half. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing is his blocking. I mean, he has really, really been a factor for us, with his blocking. Really proud of just how hard he's worked to be a complete player.
Coach, for years, offensive line has been a bugaboo for Florida State, but they look like a lot different group this year. Is that what you see on film?
Yeah, they're much improved, for sure. They got 3 starters back that have now, played a lot of football for them. They brought in a couple transfer guys. So they're definitely just more seasoned, definitely the best they've been in a while.